So, the first of the most important is Guru devotion. There's 3 types of Guru devotion. There's inner Guru devotion, outer Guru devotion, and secret Guru devotion. Outer Guru devotion is showing respect by your body language. Example, not falling asleep, not sitting slouched, scratching yourself, burping, or coughing, or pointing your feet out, or showing any type of bodily disrespect to your Guru. That's outer. And speech-wise, to speak in a way that's pleasant, that's clear, and not to make your Guru strain, or say what, or how, or huh, and No, you talk straight, you talk clear, and you talk very, very well. That is outer Guru devotion. Next one is alertness. To be alert around your Guru all the time, whatever his or her needs are, and whatever the needs of Dharma brothers and sisters are. Next one is manners, to have very good manners, to have positive manners, good etiquette. Along with that, to serve one's Guru physically. Along with that, to make offerings to one Guru, such as food or money or house. This is all extracted from 50 verses, by the way. Another one is sponsorship of your Guru, so that he can do Dharma work free of financial constraints. Meaning, if he has to go out and work, then he can't teach Dharma. Alright? That is outer Guru devotion. That is the lowest of the 3 Guru devotions. The lowest. So that's not what you focus on in Guru devotion. That's the lowest. The next form of Guru devotion is inner Guru devotion. Inner Guru devotion is the cultivation of the states of mind of being willing. Not being unwilling, but to have willingness. To destroy unwillingness to follow your Guru's instructions, especially towards Dharma practice. Next one is to destroy doubt. How do you destroy doubt in your Guru? By studying the Dharma, meditating and contemplating, and thinking how you were before you met your Guru, how you were after you met your Guru, where your knowledge came from, how your Guru dispels the darkness of your mind and superstition in your mind. So by meditating, you destroy doubt in your Guru. The next one is to destroy inner Guru devotion, is to destroy miserliness. The next one is to destroy laziness. The next one is to destroy impatience. And the next one is to destroy intolerance. These are the inner Guru devotion practices. So if you're devoted to your Guru, outwardly you will practice this, but inwardly is even more important. You will practice these qualities, or the destruction of these negative points. Then, secret Guru devotion. Secret is the highest form of Guru devotion. It is the real Guru devotion. That type of Guru devotion you can practice even your Guru is dead, or you live very far away from your Guru, or you're not even near your Guru. And that Guru devotion is the development of qualities that contradict the ego. What binds us to samsara is the ego. What is the ego? The ego is the self-cherishing mind. The mind that makes oneself more important than others. Hence, we are lazy and irresponsible. Why? We are more concerned about ourselves. We don't care how much pressure we give to other people. We don't care how much burden we give to other people. We don't care how much difficulties we give to other people. Because we don't care how much burden and difficulties we give to other people, we have a very big ego. Why is that ego very big in this case? Because we are more concerned about ourselves. If we don't do our work, somebody else will do it for us. So therefore the ego is very big. Why is the ego very big? Because we're concerned only about ourselves. So the secret Guru devotion practice, that's why there's 3 types of Guru devotion. Inner, outer, and secret. Secret is the highest form of Guru devotion. It is the most important of the Guru devotions, and it is the most of the best of the offerings you can make to your Guru. The destruction of your ego. What is an offering of the destruction of your ego? The offering of the destruction of your ego is to lessen one's selfish habituations, one's selfish mind, and one's narrow, selfish self-absorption. That is the highest form of Guru devotion. Alright? And that Guru devotion is one of the prerequisites. Prerequisites. Prerequisites to the higher practices. Okay? So if you don't have this, and you're doing tantric practices, it will be ineffective. Because any tantric practice is designed for you to become a Buddha. No Buddha has ego. No Buddha has doubt, or unwillingness, or miserliness, or laziness, or impatience, or intolerance. No Buddha has those qualities. You don't develop these qualities while you're practicing Tantra. You have to develop these qualities before you practice Tantra, because Tantra is not about that. Tantra is about changing your whole worldview and your whole perception of samsara based on these qualities that you have developed. Any questions on that Buddha devotion? 2. The second prerequisite is preliminary practices. The preliminary practice is, the reason is the collection of merits for the purification of actions and habituations. For any actions that are negative that we collected and habituations, negative habituations, to purify that, we must do the preliminary practices. What is that? Vajrasattva, Guru Yoga, offerings, water, prostrations, making tatsas or statues, and making mandala offerings. Preferably minimum of 100,000 each. Hence, when I said KMP earlier is doing their preliminary practices, I'm very happy. Because why? KMP is not the reason they're there. KMP is a method for the reason they're there. What's the reason they're there? To practice Dharma and become a Buddha. So KMP is just a method, not an end. The outlet, as I told Anna before, the outlet is just a method, not the end. So for Irene, when she opens a restaurant, the restaurant is not the end. It's not the purpose she's here. The restaurant is just another way to develop these qualities. So, if we find it difficult to do these 6 preliminary practices, in lieu or as a substitute, we can do Dharma work. What do I base that on? The work that the monks had to do in the monastery. I come from a monastery of 3,000 monks. Who do you think cooks for them? The monks. Who do you think cuts the vegetables? The monks. Who do you think goes shopping? The monks. They go on lorries, bringing back lorries and lorries of potatoes and vegetables. Who do you think goes to the field to cultivate the rice? The monks. Who do you think does the letters? The monks. Who do you think does the sewing and the cleaning and the washing? The monks. So therefore, if monks can do all those work, why can't we? Therefore, some of us say, oh, I want to go to the center just to meditate and I just want to pray and I'm all holy. No, I don't agree. Because in a monastery, the holy monks themselves have to go out and do all types of physical work. And our gurus tell us that work is same as this. So these are not things I made up to trick you so you do Dharma work. These are things that we are taught in the monasteries that I'm sharing with all of you. Okay? So if you find it hard to do 100,000 Vajrasattva's and meditate because you got an itchy backside, do Dharma work. All these are the second preliminaries that you need to do. Water offerings, Guru Yoga, Vajrasattva, prostrations, tattva, making statues. That's why I encourage you guys, make statues, make tattvas, give it away. Even you don't have anyone to give it away, make it and create it, save it. Later when we have TKL, we can put all those tattvas and statues inside a huge stupa. Because in Tibet, people do tattva retreats, means they go away for 1 year to a special place and they collect the dirt, they clean it, they filter it out, they collect water from the river and they make the dirt and they make the water into clay and then they have a mold and they make the tattvas outside with prayers every day. When they finish, they do prostration, they do a dedication. And the tattvas are sometimes mixed with precious relics. The tattvas are mixed sometimes with precious items like sand or dirt or whatever leaves from Bodh Gaya. They put it in. And then you know what they do? The tattvas, they give it away to other people who want it. And then if they do 100,000, they have like 90,000 left. They build a huge stupa. And they put all the tattvas inside. And when people circumambulate around that, there could be 90,000 Buddhas inside. That's why I told you guys, don't be stingy with statues. Don't be stingy with tattvas. Don't be stingy with tankas. Create it. Why? You are creating the form of a Buddha, which creates the karma for you to achieve the 3 Buddha bodies. The 3 Buddha bodies are connected directly with sleep, intermediate state, and dying. It's very, very important in Tantra. You don't know all of this, so I just prepare. So therefore, preliminary practices, people don't like to do them. I make them do them. And they abandon, they neglect it. Okay, take it away. Their loss. Their big loss. So that's the second of the preliminary practices that we must do. Third is Lamrim. The study, contemplation, study of Lamrim, contemplation of Lamrim, application of Lamrim, and most important, if we wish to practice Vajrayogini or Hiroko or Yamataka, we must have the results of Lamrim. Without the results of Lamrim, your tantric practice would be baseless and empty. If you have the results of Lamrim, when you do tantric practice, you will gain attainments. When you don't have the results of Lamrim, when you do tantric practice, you only plant Dharma seeds for the future. When Maitreya comes, the seeds open and you receive the Dharma. You will not gain attainments in this life. You say, what's the big deal? You have to take thousands and thousands of lifetimes of rebirth again before Maitreya shows up. And, by the way, when Maitreya shows up, he will not teach Tantra. He will not teach at all. He will teach the slow path, only sutra. Okay? The first, third, fourth, and last Buddhas are the only ones that will teach Tantra. Shakyamuni is the fourth. The next one, until the last one, will not teach Tantra anymore. So Hiruka's Tantra, Vajrayogini's Tantra, will exist for another 2,500 years. After that, no more Tantras. Gone. So, in order to achieve Tantric attainments, one must have Lamrim results. Next prerequisite is number 4, holding the 3 level of vows. In your case, the refuge vows, the bodhisattva vows, and the tantric vows. If you don't have all 3 vows, if you have one set of vows, then hold the one set of vows very well. And every single day, sometimes we'll infringe upon our vows. We need to purify the vows. Very important to doing purification practices. Next is for non-initiates. That means those who don't have the higher tantric initiations. You should do non-initiatory practices to familiarize, such as Tsongkhapa's practice. So you should do Tsongkhapa's practice every day without miss to prepare yourself to do sadhanas in the future. And those of you who are not initiated should do protector practices every day, such as Setra, or whatever you've been assigned by your teacher. Why? Those protector practices will clear away the obstacles and open the doorway that you could understand Dharma even better to practice. That's the function of a Dharma protector. So for non-initiation people, many people here don't have initiation. Number 5 is very important. For those who have initiation, number 5 would be do your Yidam practices. Those of you who have Yamataka, do Yamataka, read the commentary, study, learn, and practice. Those of you who have Hiruka or Vajrayogini, practice and do every day. Alright, for those with initiation without, I wrote number 5. That's a prerequisite. Yidam. Yi is a Tibetan word for mind. Dam is a Tibetan word to hold. So Yidam means something that holds your mind. That refers to one of the meditational deities such as Vajrayogini, Tsongkhapa, Hiruka, Shakyamuni. These are Yidams. Yidams is something that holds your mind. Holds your mind from what? Doing non-virtuous actions, going to non-virtuous states of rebirth, having non-virtuous results. So it holds your mind from going to negative places, negative thoughts, negative actions. So a Yidam's practice is designed for you to hold your mind from negative practices, negative results. Alright? So, the purpose of a Yidam is to become attained. Okay? For some of you who are falling asleep, please make yourself awake or you may go home. I'm spending a lot of time explaining this to you. Please stay awake. Please open your eyes. Please have a little more respect for the Dharma. I'm just as tired and exhausted as you. And I'm doing the talking. Now, the Yidam practices are specifically, what's the purpose? To become attained. The practice of a Yidam we call dake or sadhana. In Tibetan you call it dake. In Sanskrit you call it sadhana. So the actual practice of a Yidam, you will use the sadhana or the dake. What does that mean? Self-transform. Da is self. Ke is to change or transform. So self-transform. Self-transform from what? From an ordinary person to that of an enlightened being. So the purpose of a Yidam's practice is to make you an enlightened being. The purpose of a Yidam is not to give you money, not to chase away spirits, not to give you health, not to give you fortune, not to give you luck. The purpose of the higher Yidams is not to do that. They have the power to do that. But their sadhanas are not designed to do that. Their sadhanas are designed to transform your mind to become that of a Buddha. How? In the sadhana, I gave a very easy rundown. It contains refuge, vajrasattva, root and lineage, lama, solicitation, and dissolution, meaning you take refuge, real refuge, tantric way. Then you do vajrasattva's practice. Along with that, in each yamataka, hiruka, vajragini, guya samaja, there's a huge section where you visualize your root guru and his lineage gurus dissolving into you, and the procedures for dissolving in order to open up your merits to practice. That's very, very important. Alright? The next one is dissolving one's perceptions, one's body, and one's environment. We dissolve one's perception, one's body, one's environment into emptiness. From that, we arise as a deity's body, and we visualize the 72,000 channels. The 72,000 channels of a Yidam is condensed into three main channels. Meaning central, left, and right channels. So the 72,000 channels in our body are dissolved into three main channels. The three main channels dissolve into one central channel, and that is where our mother's blood and our father's sperm will abide when we die. When we die, there are 8 procedures to go through. The last procedure, the most subtle one, is the blood of the mother that resides at your crown will descend. The sperm of the father which you have received will ascend. And on that will travel your subtle mind, and it will join at your heart. When that one is complete, the death process is complete, they will separate, and your mind will leave your body. The sign of that is some blood will come out of your nose. So at that stage, if you've been practicing any of the tantras, you will see clearly signs. You will be able to control your rebirth. Okay? The next one is in the sadhana of the Yidam, you'll practice the meditation on either 5 or 6 chakras, depending on the system. Some systems focus on 5 chakras, some systems focus on 6 chakras. So you focus on the chakras. Why? The chakras contain different drops, winds, and energies for you to manipulate in your body. Then, dissolving of the winds, controlling and moving at will. You'll be able to dissolve your winds, move your wind at will. What's the benefit of that? You control your death. And when you die, and how long you live. Many high Tibetan lamas have the control over their rebirth and death. And that is acquired through these practices. And once you gain that power, you can do that in every single lifetime. You control your rebirth. Why? You're using your body to control it. It's nothing mystical. There are meditations to control. Why? Ancient Chinese masters can jump from here to the top of the ceiling very high because they can control your qi. They can even move objects by pushing the qi. The Tibetans don't focus on jumping on buildings and moving objects. They focus on the qi inside to transform the mind. It's very different. Qi cannot be seen by scientists. Neither can wind. But it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Because scientists don't know everything. They don't have the wisdom of a Buddha. Then, dissolving the winds. Then also the sadhanic practices, sadhana practice of Yidam, helps you to prepare your body, your mind, and ready for practices. So all this is helping you to do the actual Yidam practice, which leads to identifying and becoming the Yidam through mantra and meditation. So through the Yidam's mantra and through the Yidam's meditation, you control your winds. When you control your winds, you control your mind. When you control your minds, you control your anger, your hatred, your desire, your jealousy, and your doubts. Then, at the end of the sadhana practice, is prayers and wishes and aspirations and felicitations, and finally dedication. And the purpose of that is preliminaries. What does that mean? That means we have to finish the preliminaries that I mentioned earlier to achieve this. So in the sadhana practices of a Yidam, if you notice, there's nothing here that mentions throw away your obstacles, get money, get health, get long life. It is totally, the first step of the sadhana is to control your body. The second step is when your body is controlled, then your mind can be calm. Example, if someone's there stabbing you, how are you going to meditate? Similarly, if your body is not in order, if your body is not moving and functioning, and your chakras and your winds and drops are blocked, you cannot meditate. You cannot, impossible. So therefore, the first part of the sadhana helps you to achieve control over your body. The second part is that once you achieve control over your body, then the sadhana helps you to control your mind. That's the purpose of a sadhana. Okay? So when we practice Yidam, it is totally the mind that you're interested in. The mind. And in order to practice a Yidam's practice, you must have the preliminary practices intact. If your preliminary practices are not intact, you cannot practice Yidam. For example, if you don't have Guru devotion, if you have doubt in your Guru, you're miserly toward your Guru, you're sneaky toward your Guru, you don't listen to your Guru, how is he going to teach you how to do all this? How? You don't trust him. You develop a culture of not trusting your Guru. You develop a culture of not believing your Guru. You develop a culture of being rude, falling asleep, doubting, and not carrying out instructions of your Guru. You develop that culture within yourself. Therefore, when you do these practices, it will not be successful. By virtue, you don't listen anyway. You don't follow anyway. So therefore, the preliminary practices are designed to train your unwillingness, your intolerance, your doubts, your miserliness, your laziness. And that is based on making offerings. Based on these things. These are all interconnected. So therefore, if your Guru tells you to make offerings because of your stupidity, your lack of understanding, your ignorance, and you not trusting your Guru to just do it, you destroy all of this. You never come to that. Some people say, but I didn't understand. You don't need to understand. That's why you have a Guru. The Guru understands for you. You just do it. You just do it. That's what Geshe-la told me last time. I told Geshe-la, I don't understand this. I don't want to do it. He said, you don't need to understand it right now. I understand it. I'm telling you to do it. I said to Geshe-la, but I didn't check it out. He said to me, you don't need to. I checked it out for you. And I said, oh. I never asked him again. Because I have stupid people now who tell me that. But I didn't understand Rinpoche's full instructions. That's why I don't do it. I don't understand. As if you have the merits and you put in 30 years to understand. How ridiculous. To not do it because you don't understand. Then don't go to school. You don't understand anything what they're doing. So therefore, this is the sadhanic practice. Does everybody understand the purpose and function of Yidam? The reason I wrote this chart out is to tell you the purpose and function of a Yidam. And what's required before you can practice a Yidam. Next part. I wrote here clearly the purpose of protector practice. The purpose of protector practice. Protector means removal of obstacles or temporary obstacles. Again, I'll have this all next door so you can copy later. And the protector practices are called Kang Se. Kang is to confess or to give up. Se is to perpetuate. So you are giving up your negativities and you are perpetuating or praying to a protector. Kang Se. So the protectors do not have sadhanas. The protector practices you do not call sadhanas because why? The function and presentation of a protector is different than that of a Yidam. The Yidam's practices are presented in a way to transform the mind. The protector's practices are presented to remove obstacles. They're completely different practices. Okay? Now, Kang Se, Kang is to confess and perpetuate. Why? You do protector practices so that you can support your Yidam practices. Why do you support your Yidam practices? Because while you do your Yidam practices, you need money, you need business, you need health, you need food, you need shelter, you need protection, you need the hantus to go away. So you need the protectors to protect you. So while you're meditating on Vajragini and you're meditating on your winds and the hantu in front of you, the winds go up your anus and out your anus, and how? How? You're trying to bring your wind up to your heart instead of go because you're so scared. So what's my point? My point is, the reason you do your protector practices is to help you in your Yidam practices. That's the real reason of doing protector practice. Not for money, not for health, not to chase away your bad spirits. But there's an exception here. So those of you who don't have a higher tantric initiation such as Vajrayogini, Yamataka, Hiruka, Kalachakra, Hevaja, or Chitta Mani Tara, your Yidam is Tsongkhapa. Isn't that simple and easy? Here he is in case you don't know who he is because you're stupid. Okay, that's Tsongkhapa, that's your Yidam. Alright, then the purpose of the protector is primary removal of external obstacles for your Yidam practice. The primary purpose of a protector practice is to remove external problems for your Yidam practice. That's why we do a lot of protective pujas to make our departments grow. That's why we do a lot of protector pujas and black tea to make TKL manifest. Why? TKL in our departments are our preliminary practices. It's our preliminary practices. So to do these practices, we have obstacles. To remove those obstacles, we pray to the protector. It's all connected. All connected. So therefore, if you want TKL to go up, you have to do a lot of protector practices. All of us. A lot. Why? What is TKL for? For us to go up there and go dancing? We have Adrian do a striptease up there? What is TKL for? TKL is for us to go up there to practice Vajrayogini and to do retreat. So if you do protector practices to make TKL go up, the protector will help you to remove obstacles. Why? Because he wants you to do Yidam practice. Everybody understand? It's very connected. That's why I say, never get tired of doing pujas. Never say, I already did the pujas, I don't want to do any more. Or why do I have to do more? Because you have so much bad karma from 5,000 lifetimes, that's why. Very simple. Now, secondary purpose of protector practice. Secondary, removal of external, internal obstacles depending temporarily on an outer being. That means Buddhism doesn't believe in the outer being. Oh, God, give me this. God, give me that. God took that away. God, give it and God take it. God, could you just give it and leave it? God, give it and God take it. Can God just, why God have to take it? Just leave it. I like to leave it, I like to change the Bible to give it and leave it. Well, if I can give a sermon at the church, trust me, I can twist the whole Buddhist teachings into a gospel. They'll be like, wow, I like your form of Christianity. Oh, I could. It's very easy, very simplistic to understand. Now, in Buddhism, we don't rely on an outer being, do we? We don't ask an outer being to help us. We don't rely on an outer being to give us attainments. We don't rely on an outer being to give us what we need. So in protector practices, that is exempted temporarily. That means for a short time, you're allowed. So, you can rely on a protector secondary, to remove external, internal obstacles depending temporarily on an outer being. That means you depend on the Dharma protector. Who's the outer being? Setra. And you're asking Setra for what? Freedom from sickness, fear, possession, magic, enemies, harm, supernatural happenings, environmental difficulties, monetary. Monetary means mula, money, ringgit, money. Everybody's excited. See, they wrote down notes, money. Everybody understand? So you can pray to the protector for that, and that's against Buddhism, to pray to something outer to give you something. That sounds very godlike, but that's what the protector is manifested to do. Because during the Kali Yuga time, which is the degenerate time, we have more problems. Everybody understand? Now, when I say you rely on an outer being to help you with external problems, that may be opposite of Buddhist teachings, but it's not, because what's the reason you do protector practices? And what's the purpose of the Yidam practices? Yes, and when you do the Yidam practices, are you depending on outer or inner? Inner. Correct. So there's no contradictions if you want to debate. Now you want to debate? Good. Good. You wish I was at Lamrinkas teaching all this, don't you? That's what you think. Can you come over and teach us all this again? Can we have the chart? If I was you, I'd grab this chart, frame it, auction off 5 years later when I'm globally famous. You'll get millions for it. Maybe. Next. The process of a protector Kangse. What's a protector Kangse? What's a protector Kangse, Joy?
Confess, propitiate.
That's the name of his practice. What's the name of a Yidam's practice?
Sadhana.
What's the name of a protector practice?
Kangse.
That's it. Is there such thing as a protector sadhana?
No.
That's right. Is there such thing as a Vajragini Kangse? No. Why? Kangse and sadhana is different presentations of an enlightened aspect of the mind. Now, because meetings are meetings, but I always give Dharma teachings during meetings to let you know that I am still a Dharma teacher, not a businessman, although you're making me a businessman. Now, the process of doing the Yidam's practice, I already labeled correct. The process of doing the Yidam's practice is taking refuge, Vajrasattva, praying to your root and lineage gurus, dissolving one's perceptions, body and environment, the channel meditation, the chakra meditation, dissolving of the winds, controlling moving, preparing the body. The mind is ready for practices, identifying and becoming the Yidam through mantra and meditation, prayers, wishes, aspirations, felicitations, and dedication. That's the process of what contains in each sadhana. Okay? What contains in each Kangse is what contained in each Kangse is visualization of the abode of the protector. Inviting the protector to the abode that you have visualized. Offerings to the protector. Confessions to the protector of your infracture. Or what's that word? Infracting? Infraction. Confessions to a protector is infraction of one's guru devotion and infraction of one's sadhana commitments. That's what you confess to Dharma protector. Okay, then you recite the protector's mantras to invoke his power. Asking for certain after that you ask for certain actions. Example, ba ba ba. When we're reciting things, ba 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 ba. That's requesting action. Push away black magic. Okay? Then, making a promise in return for the action. So when the protector does the action for you, you must promise something. What must you promise? I will have Guru devotion. I will do my Yidam practices. So when you do your protector practices and you disrespect your Guru, your protector practices will not be effective. Simple as that. So each time you're not aware, you disrespect your Guru. Each time you lie, you disrespect your Guru. Each time your Guru gives you instructions, you don't do it, you disrespect your Guru. And that's what you confess to Dharma protector. But you don't think that you can keep doing confessing after a while it's not effective anymore because it's mechanical already. Next one is making tormas and commitment offerings. Each protector has specific tormas and commitment offerings that we make, which I taught you guys. Next one is dissolving back to the environment. When you're done, you dissolve the protectors back to their environment. Suchita benza ye so ha. Protectors either go back, the original one goes back, another one dissolves into the tanka or the statue. So this is the process of a Kangse or the rundown. Can people see the process of a Kangse and the difference between that of a sadhana? And the prerequisites of a Yidam practice is connected all the way through, is it not? Does everybody understand that better? Okay, so the prerequisite practices. And there are some Chinese ed here who don't understand my language, and that's not their fault. If I was a High Lama, I can speak many languages. Too bad I'm not. So for the Chinese ed ones here, the English ed afterwards explain to them better. Write this down. Why? They have the karma to be here to listen. Simple. So therefore, the prerequisite practices are very important to do right now, before you receive tantric initiation. Geshe-la said, His Eminence, Great Geshe Tsudam Gyaltsen says, during this degenerate times, some of us receive tantric initiation already, although we're not ready. So in that case, we practice the prerequisites and tantric practices simultaneously. That's why I don't give you guys initiations. I don't encourage you to run to centers, to run to different lamas for these reasons. Don't think I'm trying to take ownership of you. I'm not. So therefore, those of you that I told you to do the prerequisites, have Guru devotion. I told you, do your offerings. Do your 6 preliminary practice. You don't want to do. You're lazy. You're lost. Because you don't trust. Why don't you trust? You don't have knowledge. Why don't you have knowledge? You didn't practice. You didn't study. You didn't learn. You didn't internalize. Very simple. Then, when you do the preliminary practice as well, example, when he messes up on his writing, he's not doing his preliminary practices. Therefore, his sadhana practices, whatever he's doing, will not be effective. That's why I told him a few weeks ago, I'll take all your sadhanas away. So he can concentrate on awareness. Why? It's connected. So therefore, the protective practices are to remove external obstacles so you can do your Yidam practices. The Yidam practices are designed for you to become a Buddha. Now, because we don't live in a monastery, because we don't live in a country we don't live in not a country, we don't live in an area, it has nothing to do with country. We don't live in an area where Buddhism has been strong for many generations, so we have this knowledge. Or we live in a place we don't have many Dharma teachers. We're not given this knowledge. So our parents never encouraged us to practice, therefore we're lazy to practice. They don't practice. We don't practice, and we pass this bad habit to our children. And then they pass this bad habit to the children. Do you think that by giving money and clothes and food and education to your children that they're set? You're very selfish, and you're very narrow-minded, and you're very short-sighted. Why? Because your children will die one day. Where will they take rebirth? So if you don't do your Dharma practice, your children definitely will not do it. And if they don't do it, the next generation won't do it. Therefore, you don't have this knowledge. Therefore, for many of you here, to do sadhana practice of a Yidam is very far away or many years later. So what I concentrate on in Malaysia is protector practice. Why? If I promote the protector practices, and when you do the protector practices correctly, and your outer obstacles are removed, you gain faith in the Buddha. You gain faith in your Guru. You gain faith in the Dharma. Then you say, okay, now that my obstacles are removed, normal people come and say, now Rinpoche, what should I do next? And I say, oh, you should do 100,000 prostrations now. Your business okay, right? They say, yeah. Now you do 100,000 prostrations. Whereas in the Buddhist country, you would say, no, go just do 100,000 prostrations. But you can't say that here, because you say, why? Why should I do that? You tell people, oh, make water offerings every day, make 100,000. They say, no, why should I do that? Why? I don't understand it. Putting water in front of the Buddha, there's nothing to stand. Buddha needs water, he's thirsty. The end, if you're that stupid. I mean, if you're that stupid, Buddha needs to drink water too, what? He has to travel from India to here to look at you. Give him a glass of water lah. I mean, if you're so stupid you don't understand what water offering is, let me just say, make it very simple for your level. He traveled from India to here, and he's thirsty. Give him some water lah. Why put a candle? Because he can't see in the dark. So when Buddha gets up to go take a pee, he might stumble over you. So why do you put beautiful incense in front of Buddha? Because you fart all day and you smell. Simple. Why do you put beautiful flowers in front of the Buddha? So he looks at the flower and not you. Look at you. Why would you want? Well, would you look at you? Look at yourselves. Is there anything to look at? Very simple. So let's put it on your level. Now. That's why in Malaysia, I go from bottom up. But people don't understand that. That's why I made a separate chapel. And other chapels. Yes. Yoo-hoo! And other chapels. Why? Because I need to do it from up. So I promote the protective practices. I promote you guys to do protectors. Why? Because every single one of you in this room wants money. And you want those ghosts to go away. And you want your children to be safe. And you want to have good business. And you guys don't practice Dharma to become a Buddha. Some of you have said, this Buddha, this Yidam, I don't know lah. I just want good business. I want my children to be alright. I want my lover to love me. I want my wife to love me and all that stuff. That's what you want. That's why you practice Dharma. Okay, I listen to all of you. And I think, how do I turn that around to make them practice Dharma? That's how I think. I don't think, they sure are stupid. Why don't I think that? Because you're not from Ganden Monastery. That's why. If you were from Ganden and you study and you say that, I'd slap you. But since you're not from Ganden, where are you from? You're from Samsara. Since you're from Samsara, there it is, Samsara. I can't blame you. So if you're from Ganden Monastery, you say, I want to pray to Protector for money for children. When you're Ganden Monastery, you got children now. That's very confusing. That doesn't match. Imagine one says, hi, I'm from Ganden Monastery. Something wrong. Something very wrong. Okay, so since you are not from Ganden Monastery, and you pray to the Protector for selfish reasons, I understand. So I think, okay, that's how they are. That's where they are. They're in Malaysia. They're not from monastery. They didn't study Dharma. They won't know. It's not their fault. It's nothing bad. So how to turn that around? How to turn that around that later, a few years later, I can make them do real Dharma. So I give them Protector practice. So I make them set up beautiful altars. I make them get silver butter lamps, silver bowls, silver sirkim offerings. I make them make beautiful statues and tankas of the Protector. I make them offer pearls and jewelry. I make them make prostrations, and I make them do sirkim every day. Golden, black drink every day to remove their obstacles, to get their money, to remove their problems, difficulties, and they say, oh wow, oh wow. Oh wow, oh now I understand. Oh wow, the Protector removed my obstacle. There is a Buddha. Oh, Rinpoche is right. Oh, Rinpoche is special. Now I'll listen to him. Now I'll do what he says. Now I'm ready. Rinpoche says, okay, now do 100,000 water offerings. Alright. That's right. Whereas if you get a schmuck who just shows up and you say, oh, can you do 100,000 water offerings? Why? I don't understand why. And you're like, oh my God. You just look at them and you just go, oh. Ingredients for depression, but what can I say? That's right. So therefore, you trick them into doing Dharma. That's why in Malaysia I promote Protector practice. And I encourage people to do Protector puja. And I ask people to take Setrap as their protector. That's why I asked Paul to make Setrap tsatsas, pewter and big ones, and I ask everybody to invite Setrap home. And I tell people to buy and give it to their friends. Decorational pieces, pray, whatever they like. Why? So they do Dharma from backside up. Everybody understand that? It's called, you care enough to find a way to help. Because in the monasteries, you do not encourage Protector practice. You do not encourage people to do Protector pujas in the monastery. It's a side thing. In the monastery, you ask people to do Yidam practice. But here you cannot, because you guys are not learning. You haven't studied. You have not collected the merit to be born in this life, to take ordination, to immediately study. You collected a lot of demerit to get money, to be beautiful, to be handsome, to live in an easy life, to be taking care of your parents. You collected a lot of negative karma to have that. So therefore, what happens? Your money brings you down. Your good life brings you down. Why? Because you use up your merits during your life. That's what we consider negative merits. Although the appearances seem to be good. Okay? That's the difference. That's why in our Dharma Center, I promote Dharma Protector practice tremendously. To go the other way around. That's why I showed you the differences between a Protector practice and a Yidam practice. I showed you the lineup of the practices. Why? When I show you the lineup, you can immediately see, oh, the purpose is completely different. The sadhana of a Yidam and the counsel of a Protector is very different, isn't it? One is perpetuating an outer person. One is perpetuating yourself. That's right.